All right, hey guys, welcome to week 3. I'm going to teach today because I wanted to. um, so I'm just going to keep it in slide view. So today we're going to talk about canvases, canvases and assemblies. So I'm going to teach the first half about canvases, and Andrew's going to teach the second half about assemblies. So for today we're going to be designing the engineering fountain, like a pretty simple model of the engineering fountain. So to get started, can you guys go on Discord and look at the thing that was just posted in resources, I believe? Yeah. It's an image. I want you guys to download that image to your computers. Okay. Everyone's got it? Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is basically we're going to be tracing the engineering fountain and using this picture as a background. So we chose this image because it has like a nice front-on view of the engineering fountain, and yeah, we're going to use that to sort of trace it to get the shape really easily without having to knowing like the equation or like the exact way that it was built. So to start out, you're going to click this picture button up here, and this inserts what's called a canvas. So it's going to insert an image from your computer. So you want to click insert from my computer, and then you're going to want to find that image that you just downloaded. You want to open that, and then click on one of the faces. I'm just going to do probably like the front axis, and then press OK. And then now you can see that we have like a picture of the engineering fountain that's like actually in the workspace here. Okay. And then we want to use this to like create a sort of template to extrude and then make the engineering fountain. So we're going to want to create a sketch on the canvas. So we're going to want to make a sketch and then select the same plane that you chose to put the canvas on, right? And then we're not going to worry about this center bit or the left side. We're just going to look at the right side because we're going to do a circular pattern later. So for right now, we're going to just focus on this big tower and then like the little one next to it. And you don't have to worry about the seating that goes around, just the big main towers. It's like a simplified model. So I'm just going to start by creating like a vertical line from the top down to like around where the bottom looks like it is. Again, this isn't super precise. It's kind of like just go until it looks close enough. And then I'm going to go all the way out. And then you're going to want a bottom line to be horizontal. So this has this sort of, I don't know, comb shape on the bottom. That means it's horizontal. It's been constrained to the horizontal plane. And then I'm going to, I guess, go up to this far corner right over here. And then for this curve right here, so I think this is like e to the x is the equation of that, but you don't need to know that. That's just kind of like trivia. You could do it if you like zoomed in and did like a ton of little tiny lines, but that would be super tedious. So we're going to use this tool, the fit point spline that you guys used last week. And you're going to want to like go down, placing a bunch of points along the sort of along the curve here. And then when you get to the gap between this tower and like the smaller one, like there's that gap in between, you're going to want to just continue going and make sure you have a point at either end. So if you see, I have a point right here at the start of the gap, and I have a point right here at the end of the gap. And what this is going to do is it's going to keep the curve going in the same general shape, which is what we want because this curve has been generated by a like mathematical formula. So it'll make the curve look nicer for both of them. And then we can just delete that segment in the middle. So press enter. And then I don't want this to be just one solid shape. So I'm going to create lines going down to the base line on the bottom from the fit point spline that I did. And then each of these lines is going to hit that bottom line, and it has an X, which means it's going to be like connected to that bottom line. I want to go down from this one as well. And again, I'm just trying to sort of vaguely fit the shape. Doesn't have to be exact. Then I'm going to use the trim tool to get rid of this middle bit of spline. And so now you can see that I have two shapes. I have this one and I have this one, and they pretty well match the big towers of the engineering fountain, right? It's not super close, but it's not bad either. Catch up. Okay, I'm gonna let people catch up, and in the meantime, I'm just gonna I'm not really gonna be resizing these at any point, and it's pretty complex geometry, so I'm probably just gonna lock it for right now, since this isn't like professionally, you shouldn't really do this, but just because it's it's curvy and these lines aren't vertical or anything, and I'm not trying to keep it like closer or further to anything, I'm just gonna fix it. So I can't like edit anything. Okay, so I just looked back and I realized that I forgot to like center the canvas around the midpoint, so it's like a little bit off to the left. And for later on, it's important for it to be sort of centered around the midpoint. So I'm going to want to go back and change where I put this canvas. So to do that, so this is this row with the icons on the bottom. This is called your timeline. It's it's what it says. It's a timeline of all your things, and you can basically kind of go back in time and change things, if that makes sense. So you can right click on anything in this timeline, and then you can edit it. So this is a feature. So I'm going to click edit feature, and then so this sort of circle, this black circle in the middle here, this is the origin, and I want this to be like about centered on the origin. Doesn't have to be exact again. So I'm just gonna like drag it over until it's actually, I'm not gonna do that like that. I'm gonna do it with numbers. So I'm gonna change this X distance. So let's do like 0.3. That's pretty close. I'm just gonna do 0.35. Okay, so that's pretty close. So I put in 0.35 for the X distance. So I offset it 0.35 to the right. And now it's like, you can see it's a lot more centered on the origin. And then I'm going to remember that number because I'm going to go into my sketch, edit it, I'm going to unfix everything. And then I'm going to move it. So if you right click, there's this move copy button right here on this sort of wheel that pops up. You click on that, and then I'm going to put in the same 0.35 that I put into moving the canvas into moving this sketch. I did move it. Why did you not move? Something fixed. Fixed. Okay. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna extrude it. Okay, so next you're gonna want to extrude it, right? Because we want this to be 3D. So I'm just gonna, I don't know, just kind of see what looks good, right? Just kind of like think about the engineering fountain. And we want it to be on both sides, not just one. So because we want it to be like sort of symmetric about the plane that we did the sketch on. So to do that, on this table, this sort of yeah, I don't know, whatever. Under direction, you can click symmetric, and then it'll put the right side out the same direction as the left side. So if I drag this, it's putting it out the same amount in both directions. So I'm just going to do, I don't know, 0.75. That looks pretty good. So now I have this, right? And then I do want to get the details. Okay, so I want to get the details of the fountain on my sketch as well, right? We have this sort of wavy line, and I'm just going to kind of ignore these like hashes. I'm just going to focus on this wavy line right here. So right now it's kind of hard to see that wavy line because this body's in the way. So what you can do is you can hide these so that we can like make another sketch that is just the wavy line and then extrude that. So what you're going to want to do is you have this sort of tree of all the stuff that's in your workspace right now. And you can click the arrows to sort of expand folders. You're going to want to expand the bodies folder. And then this eye icon, you click on that to hide things. So if you click on that, it makes them invisible. So they're still there, but they're not going to interact with anything right now. So now I can create a sketch and make another sketch on the same plane as this canvas. And this time I'm going to go back in and I'm going to draw the sort of wavy line. So to do that, actually I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to show the bodies again because I've selected it. And there's this really cool tool called Project. It is, it's not offset. used to SolidWorks. Here we go. Under Create, there's this thing called Project Include, and you can do Project, and if you select a thing that's like 3D in your workspace, and you click OK, it'll create a 2D representation of that on your sketch plane. Right, so if I pivot, you can see that this purple line is on my sketch plane, and it matches the 3D things that we just extruded perfectly. So again, that's under Create. You do Project Include, and you click Project, and then you click on the faces of the 3D objects. Center the front. Now I'm going to hide these two bodies, and I'm going to sort of go in here and just loosely match this pattern that they have here. So like go out like that, and then I don't know, just do like a fit point spline or something going down. And of course, doesn't have to be perfect. Something kind of basic, you know, matches it well enough. Okay, and then I want the detailing that I sort of captured to be you want it to have that blue, right? So that it's like a solid thing, so that you can extrude it. So I'm just going to trace over these purple lines to sort of like make Fusion understand that I'm trying to make it a solid object. Okay, so now we have, if you hover over them, you can see that the whole thing's glowing, right? So these are filled in things. Right, this is glowing white. This is glowing white. So now that I have these, I'm gonna finish the sketch, and then I want to extrude these two. And this time I want to extrude them just slightly more than we did the bodies before, so that it sort of shows up as like a little extra detail on this this other body. So I'm going to do extrude. Select the sketch. I'm going to hide you, select you and you. Show them again. So it's going to try and cut, right? Because you're trying to extrude into a body. So you're going to have to manually, under operation, you want it to be join, right? Because we want it to be just one body. We don't want it to cut. We want it to join. So that's this right here, under extrude. And then I've kind of like dragged this out until it's like an amount that I want. So this is a little too far. This is a little too close. So I'm just going to type in something in the middle manually. So I'm going to do like, I don't know, 0.6. That's 1. That's 0.5. So yeah, 0.6. Why are you not playing ball? Come on. Okay, and I forgot to make it symmetric. I'm gonna hide this canvas because we don't need it anymore. I forgot to make it symmetric, so I don't have to like cut or make another extrude, I can right click on the extrude in the timeline. Right, I just remember that it's the most recent extrude I did and that this is the extrude icon. If I hover over it, it says extrude to. So if I just right click on that, I can do edit feature, right? And then I'm back in editing it again. I could like make it further out if I wanted to. But what I'm just going to do is make it symmetric. So again, that's under direction. I'm going to do symmetric. And then make sure it's join and not new body. Because we want it to be one solid part here. It's a little exaggerated, but I'm just going to keep it because it's probably easier for you guys to see. Okay, so you should have something like this. So if you look at it from the top view, you can see that the top and bottom of this are equidistant from the origin, right? And that's important because what we're going to do next, actually I'm going to move this out a little bit because it's a little close. Okay, what we're going to do next is a circular pattern because we want to make 4 copies of this. We don't want to just sketch the same thing 4 times because that would take a really long time. So to start that, we're going to make a sketch on the bottom of one of these towers. It doesn't really matter which, just as long as it's on the bottom. I'm just going to do this one. And then starting at the origin, we're going to want to make a circle. And the size of this circle doesn't really matter. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than, actually, yeah, it does matter, sorry. Make it like a little bigger than the second, like the widest point, right? So we have a circle that encompasses both towers of the fountain. And they're going to finish the sketch. So now we have this circle that's on the level of the bottom of these two. And then we're going to do a circular pattern. So under create, it's under pattern, you want to click circular pattern. So it's right here, under create, pattern, circular pattern. And then it's already object type bodies, that's good. We want to pattern bodies. So we're going to click on the bodies that we want to pattern. Oh, sorry, I forgot to create an axis. I forgot a step. So we need to create an axis for this to rotate around. So under construct is like these are things for construction. So basically these are things that you couldn't like extrude. These are things that you can like create a drawing on or like use to do other things, but they don't count as bodies. Like if you were to I don't know, like 3D print this, it wouldn't show up. So what I'm going to do is axis perpendicular at point, because I want an axis that's perpendicular to that circle at the center of the circle. So that's under construction, axis perpendicular at point. I click on that. I'm going to click on the circle. I do not want to work. Do I have to extrude it first? Okay, maybe I have to extrude it first. So I'm just going to extrude this down a little bit. Sure, select you as well. Okay, construct axis perpendicular point. Select the face. That's not. Perpendicular to face, right? Perpendicular to face at point, sorry, not perpendicular at point. And then you can select the center point of the circle and the circle. and it'll make this glowing blue line. So you should have this glowing blue line that goes through the origin and the center of your circle. And then this is what we're going to use as our axis for our circular pattern. So you're going to go to Create, and under Pattern, you're going to do Circular Pattern. And then you can click the bodies that you want to pattern. And the axis, you're going to click on this glowing blue line that you just made. This is the construction line. And then you decide how many you want. Since we want, there's 4 towers, right? We want 4 copies. Well, 4 instances. 4 means there will be 4 of them, not you're adding 4 more. And I'm just going to press Enter. So you can see we have these 4, and they're equally distributed. Right, and I only had to draw one of them. And then to wrap it up, I'm just going to extrude this down. And since I made the sketch on this face, it likes to not include that face, so you have to manually include that face. Let's drag this down till it looks good. I think that should be everything. Yep, okay. So yeah, it should have something that looks a little like this. It's your final product. We'll go around and help.
So now that we did the engineering fountain, we're going to do a slight pivot and create an assembly. So what we've all been doing the past few weeks is we've mostly been focused on making singular parts, right? We're making like one chair or like one block, but a lot of the times when you're building things, you want to have multiple pieces combined together, right? So like let's say you want to build a robot or you want to build a car. You want most of the time you're gonna CAD each part individually, and then you're gonna combine them all in assembly. So it's basically like building Legos. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna build a Lego car in Fusion 360. So what we want to do, we first want to start by downloading this zip file in the hashtag resources of the Discord. It should have all the files. Extract it, do your thing. But yeah, once you have all those files extracted, we can go into our data panel over here. Oh, that's a school project. And then we're going to upload it to Fusion. So it's going to look like this in the end. This is from last session, so I'm going to do it again. But in your data panel, you have a list of all your projects. So for now, I'm going to make a new project, and I'm going to call it Lego Car, but you can organize it however you like. This is just like a Google Drive. So I'm going to make another one, Session 2, Lego Car. just for organization's sake. It'll create a nice folder for me, and then it gives me this upload option, right? So these models have already been made for us, so we don't need to make them. So I'm just going to click on upload. I'm going to select my files. I'm going to find the Lego car in wherever it is on your computer. I'm going to highlight everything in the folder, and I'm just going to press open. And then it's going to, give me some confirmation on all the parts that I'm uploading. I like that, so I'm going to press upload. And then now you see it's starting to populate this folder with all the different Lego bricks that we're going to be using in this assignment. So I'm going to make a new design up here on the top right, this little plus button, just like a new tab. I'm going to start with a fresh canvas, and we're going to start making this Lego car. So when I look at this, I kind of just want to start with the biggest piece first. Again, this is all up to you, but I would recommend like the 2x6 plate in this case. So I'm going to go down under these parts. Here's that 2x6 plate. I'm going to want to insert it into this design. But before you make an assembly, or before you start inserting parts, you have to name your assembly first. So over here, I'm just going to press Control S or Command S if you're in Mac. I'm going to name it something. I'm going to call it Lego car. And then, it'll just make this document, right? It'll save it. Okay, close that. It says Lego car up here. That's good. And now we can start inserting parts. So there's a number of ways you can do it. You can just click and drag the part into it, or you can right click and I believe insert into current design. So whichever you prefer. You'll see it plops this Lego piece in, and it gives you a lot of options to move it around. For me, I think this orientation looks good, so I'm just going to leave it as be. I'm just going to press OK. And now we have our first piece in our assembly. Is everyone following here? Yes? What's that? Did you extract the zip file? Yeah, because it's like the file is compressed first, so you have to extract it.
It's so much fun being on lecture like that. Students don't know how to take the files. It's so much fun
To teach. Okay, is everyone good up to this point? Yeah? Okay, cool. So what I like to do in assemblies is I like to ground the first part. So what grounding means is it makes sure that that part doesn't move anywhere. It's just like the fixed constraint for the sketches, but for assemblies. So if you don't ground your part, then all your other pieces, when you start like joining them together, are just going to fly across the screen, and we don't want that. So we want it to all start from a reference point, and in this case, I'm going to use this 2x6 plate as the reference part. So I'm going to right click up here on the Lego 2x6 plate, and then it'll give me the option to ground it. So up here on the top is say ground, and you can tell it's ground with that little pin, right? So we like that. That means that no matter what I do, it's not going to move. So oh, that's fine. Go for it. So yeah, even if I like right click and I try to press move, it like won't give me the option to move it. So that's good. Now that we have our grounded plate, we can start adding other pieces. So for me, I think I want to add like this little like screen for the Lego car or the back of the chair. Not really sure what it is, but apparently it's the roof. So the Lego 2x2 roof, I'm going to drag it in. And now you see it'll give me this highlighted like pre-rendering before it's placed, right? And you can see that like this piece is kind of phasing through the other thing, and Fusion will let you do that because it's not limited to like physics, and things will like phase through each other. So for me, I like to move things a little bit away from each other just so it makes a little bit more sense in my mind. So I'm just gonna drag this up for now. I'm gonna press OK. And now you see we have this Lego piece, but it's not touching this piece or this plate on the bottom, and it's not really constrained in any way. So if we go over here, I can move this Lego piece around. Where's the move button? Oh, there it is. So you can see all the arrows pop up again, and I can like move this around in free space. But we want to constrain it, right? We want to put all of these together. So we're going to do that with joints. So joints is what Fusion uses to help put parts together. I'm going to close this. And so you can see under assemble, there's this joint button. It's also up here for your reference. So creating a joint will basically create a constraint for all your parts. So I'm going to create a joint. It'll give you a couple options. For these pieces, I like to use the two edge intersect. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to select two edges on one piece, and then I'm going to select two different edges on the corresponding or on the other part that I want them to kind of touch each other, right? So for the 2x6 plate, I'm going to click this edge and this edge. So I selected the two top edges, right? And then it's going to ask me to select edges on this one. So I want to select this corresponding edge and this corresponding edge. And then you see the part will kind of fly into place if you did it right. Does that make sense? It's kind of cool, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I'll just do it again. So I'm going to create a joint up here. Over here, I'm going to select two edge intersection on both of them. I'm going to select this top edge and this side edge. It's basically just the two edges that you want to be touching for both parts, if that makes sense. So I'm going to select this one, and then the corresponding edge on this part is right here and there, and then they should fly into place. So under motion, it should be rigid because you don't want these parts to separate from each other. So that's good. I'll be showing you some other ones in a little bit. But yeah, these parts are together. We like it. So I'm going to press OK. And now if I try to move this, it won't give me the option, right? So I'm going to right click, press move, and you see none of the arrows are popping up anymore. It's because the first one is grounded, and because this roof piece is joined with the grounded part, it doesn't let it move, which is what we want. So that's good. So now we can basically just do it many, many times until we have a full car, right? So over here, I'm going to drag this little axle piece, if it'll let me. Hello, computer. No. Okay. Please. Why won't you drag? This is sad. Okay. I will just try another piece for now. This one doesn't want to go too, crap. Okay, I don't know what's going on. I'm just gonna place this part for now. Let's see if this changes things. Fusion, please. Why? Okay. Okay, there it goes. So I'm going to insert this piece, and just like before, I'm going to move it a little bit. I moved it down, so now it's underneath the body of the car, and I'm going to use joints again. Again, I'm using 2-edge intersection. I'm going to select 2 edges, 1, 2, 1, and 2, and then they fly into each other. So that's great. And this works really well for very like square or just like angular parts, right? But let's say we want to attach 2 things that are round, right? So we have this wheel over here, and we want to attach it to this Lego axle. There has to be a way to do it, right? I'm going to create a new joint. In this case, I'm just going to leave it as a simple joint instead of the 2-edge intersection. I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to select this round edge of the wheel. And then I'm going to select this edge of the axle. And you see now the wheel flew into the axle, which is what we want. But the motion type is specified as rigid, right? So that means the wheel is not going to move at all, but we want wheels to spin. So over here, we can change the type from rigid to revolute, and then you can see it'll preview the motion, and now we have a spinning wheel, right? Yeah. So again, I'm going to create a joint. I'm using simple joints this time. I'm going to zoom in over here, and I'm going to select this edge right here, this curved edge on the inside of the wheel. And then I'm going to rotate around, zoom in, and then I'm going to select this round edge of the axle, right? The wheel flies into the axle, and then we've specified its position, so we're going to specify the motion. So there's this little tab over here. We're going to change it to revolute, and then it'll start spinning. Then I'm going to press OK. Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah, so because you want to specify the edge, I use this edge right here, but like any of these edges should work. This one should work as well. But again, you just want to make sure you're selecting edges. So Fusion is kind of edge based. But yeah. Another cool thing, I'm going to create a new design real quick, is you can put assemblies in assemblies, right? So people call them sub-assemblies. So in this case, right, for this car, we have like the wheel and the tire, right? And instead of having to like join the wheel to the axle and then join the tire to the wheel like 4 times, what we can do is we can join the tire to the wheel once and then insert the whole thing as a sub-assembly into the main assembly, right? So I'm just going to delete this wheel real quick. Oops, not that one. And I'm going to make a new design over here real quick. I'm going to press save, and then I'll call it wheel assembly. So again, just making a subassembly of the wheel and the tire. So I'm going to insert the wheel center. I'm going to press OK. I'm going to ground the wheel up here on the top left. I'm going to insert the tire. I'm going to move it away a little bit just to make sure the joint does it correctly. I'm going to make a joint. I'm gonna click on this edge of the wheel or the tire, and then this edge of the wheel. I'm gonna fly into place. I'm gonna leave it as rigid because we want all of these to be one piece. I'm gonna press OK. So I'm gonna save it. We have this nice wheel subassembly. We can go back into the Lego car assembly, just like a Chrome tab. And then over here in the data panel, we'll find the wheel assembly. And you see, we can drag it in, right? And now both of them are combined, so we don't need to make extra joints, which is nice. Again, I'm going to do the same thing as we did last time. I'm going to make a joint, clicking this edge, move over, click this edge. I'm going to change it to revolute. And then when I press OK, they will both be there, right? And if we see, I'm dragging this, both the tire and the wheel are spinning. But yeah, that's basically the basics of a fusion assembly. I'm just going to let you guys go free, and I'm just going to walk around the room helping anyone who might need it. Yeah, that's basically how you do assembly.
Honestly, I don't know why it's that complicated, but that's So you can delete that one and then so you make it so you can create how do you learn? Yeah. It's fine. It's just like saying that it's yeah.
Sorry, my voice is kind of dying. Okay, I'm gonna do the wheel joint again real quick for anyone who missed it. So I'm gonna drag this wheel assembly in. I'm gonna rotate it just to kind of get in a general position of how I want it to be. And again, we want to make sure we're selecting edges here. So I'm going to open the joint tool. I have the simple joint constraint. And I'm going to zoom in here. And again, I'm going to select this edge, right? Because this is the edge that the wheel is going to like mate against, right? So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to rotate. I'm going to zoom in here. And then in this time, I'm going to select this outer edge. But you see, this is like the edge of the wheel. Does that make sense? If you click on it, right, the part will fly into each other. I'm gonna preview motion. But you see how that edge that we selected on the inside of this axle piece is now in line with the wheel? Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, that's what we want. Yeah, it'll like fly back. Yeah, like how it works is like you select one piece and then second piece you select like the first piece that you want to select. Right, but then 5 years, the ones that like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.